Good morning students, this is Meenal Murikar. Welcomes you all in the online tutorial of Shri Eknath Rao Khadse Talent School, Muktinagar. So today we are going to learn fourth chapter from class 9 science, that is structure of atom. Okay, so in previous chapter, that is atoms and molecules, we have gone through about atoms and molecules, between the differences of atoms and molecules. What are atoms and molecules? And in that chapter, many scientists have proposed theories, and most recognized theory was Dalton's atomic theory, right? So from Dalton atomic theory, he concluded that atom is that particle which is undivisible, indestructible, and or you may say what, invisible particle, right? So now in this chapter we are going to learn, is it such that atom is indivisible particle, or atom is a single unit which doesn't consist of anything. So after proposing the Dalton's atomic theory, many scientists have question in their mind that is it such that atom is indivisible, or it does not consist of anything. So after the Dalton's atomic theory, almost each scientist is doing experiments with atom, and after that they concluded some theories related to the structure of atom. So after Dalton's atomic theory, it is significant, or it is important to study the structure of atom. So after that that's why we are going to learn now the structure of atom. Basically, what is the structure of that atom, right? So this is the need why we are learning this chapter, structure of atom. So first topic in your textbook given is charged particles in matter. So when many scientists are experimenting with the atom, they concluded that there are some charged particles in the matter. Means in our surroundings some charged particles are present. Charge means what? They have charge. We have learned about ions in last chapter, right? So charged particle, positive and negative charges, right? So they concluded that there are some charged particles in the matter. So now from here the discovery of electron proton is related, right? You know this, na? Electron proton, or now through these theories we are going to learn the structure of atom. What is electron and proton? In last chapter I have briefly explained you about the structure, but now how the structure has came, from where it has came, how the evolution of the structure of atom has given, this is what we are going to learn in this chapter. Okay, so first we'll see who discovered what. Right? So, electron was discovered by J.J. Thomson in 1900. In 1900 year, electrons were discovered by J.J. Thomson. Electrons are what? Electrons are basically what we know nowadays. Electrons are what? Electrons are negatively charged particles, while protons are positively charged particles. Protons are present inside the nucleus, while electrons are revolving around the nucleus, or you may say in a perfect orbit. So this is what we are going to see now. So here electrons were discovered by J.J. Thomson in 1900. E. Goldstein, these are the names of the scientists. E. Goldstein, just look at your book. E. Goldstein in 1886 discovered the presence of canal rays. Canal rays, what does it mean with canal rays? Canal rays, positive rays. Okay. So these rays were positively charged radiation, which led to the discovery of another subatomic particle. This subatomic particle had a charge equal in magnitude but opposite in size, sign to that of electron. It was given the name proton. Now E. Goldstein in 1886 discovered the presence of canal rays. Canal rays, positive rays. So with his experiment, with the discovery of the canal rays, he discovered another subatomic particle, that is proton. what he recommended about protons, that these are the positively charged particles. Okay, these are the positively charged particles which have the magnitude equal to that of the electrons, but these are opposite in sign only, means protons are positively charged while electrons are negatively charged. But what is here, the difference means the similarity is what? They have the same magnitude. Now magnitude is what? Magnitude is the numerical value. If if you are writing here, you know this thing, in the 8th class we have learned about the magnitudes. So here you just can see, if we have written 1 kg, right? If we are writing 1 kg, so here kg is the unit, but this numerical value is known as what? This is known as magnitude. So if we are writing electron, if the electron of any atom has one negative charge, then the proton of that atom will definitely have only one positive charge. If electron has one negative charge, then proton will also have one positive charge. Means here one electron, then one electron. So from here we can say that here the magnitude of electron and proton are same, but only the signs of these particles are different. Okay, so is it clear with the magnitude? Yes. Now we'll move forward. Now see, in general, proton is represented as E negative. E negative. In this way, electrons are represented and protons are represented as this. Okay, so this is the symbol for electron, while this is the symbol for proton. The mass of the proton is 1 unit and its charge as +1. Here it is recommended that the mass of proton is 1 unit, that is 1, and its charge as +1. It will always have +1 charge. Okay. The mass of electron is negligible and its charge is -1. While the mass of electron is negligible, means you may say protons are heavier than electrons. Okay. So here the mass of electron is negligible while the charge is negative. Okay. Protons are present in the interior of the atom, whereas electrons can easily be removed out. Protons are present inside, deep inside in the core of the atom, while electrons are revolving around that atom, means outer shell of that atom. So electrons are easily removed out from an atom, while protons are not removed out. Okay. So this is all about the basic of protons and electrons. The discovery. Who discovered protons and electrons? Electrons were discovered by Sir J.J. Thomson, while protons were discovered by Sir E. Goldstein. Okay, electrons were discovered in year 1900, while protons were discovered in 1886. Okay, so these are the two things that you have to learn. Okay, means you have to mark that. Okay, these are asked in exams many times in multiple choice questions or in fill in the blanks. Okay, so this is all about protons and electrons. Now we are going to learn about the theories that scientists have proposed regarding the structure of atoms. 3 scientists were there who proposed their theories. According to them, they have given the structure of atom. So on what basis they have given the structure of atom, this is what we are going to learn now. Okay. Now the first atomic model was given by Sir Thomson. So that atomic model was known as what? Thomson's atomic model, or Thomson's model of an atom. Okay, so what he concluded in that, what he experimented in that model, that he said that if we have taken, suppose we have taken an cake, you may he has taken a Christmas pudding. He has supposed that atom as a Christmas pudding. Christmas pudding, you compare that with an cake. Okay, so if a dry sponge cake you made it. Okay, so sponge cake is consist of what? Base and some dry fruits over it, right? So he consisted atom as that of that sponge cake. So what he concluded from this, that the sponge cake is an atom and the dry fruits which are present over that sponge cake, that dry fruits he recommended as electrons. In the same way, what he concluded that, in same way what he said that if we have taken a Christmas pudding, then the currents, means the dry fruit in that spherical Christmas pudding are the electrons. Or you may say, if we have taken an watermelon, so the red complete watermelon, then the red edible part is all positive charge, while the seeds, black seeds are what? These are electrons. So he has compared atom with that of the Christmas pudding or with watermelon. So from this he concluded that this atom has a spherical structure in which electrons are embedded in it. Okay, he doesn't have specified the position of electron where electrons really are. He just only suggested that electrons are embedded, dry fruits are embedded inside the sponge cake. The watermelon seeds are also embedded in the red edible part. So in that way, electrons are embedded in a positive sphere. He named the sphere as a positive sphere. The sphere is completely positive, while some electrons are present or embedded inside that atom. Okay, so is this clear? This is what it is suggested by, this was the experiment performed, or this was the conclusion from his experiment that he has suggested. So what he has proposed from this, that an atom consists of a positively charged sphere and electrons are embedded in it. Means an atom is consists of a positive sphere and electrons are embedded inside it. Okay. Now the negative and positive charge are equal in magnitude. This we have learned before, that the negative and positive charge are equal in magnitude. जितना negative charge होगा उतना ही positive charge अंदर present होगा. Okay. The numerical value of both electron and proton will be always equally present, equally distributed inside the atom. Okay. So the atom as whole is electrically neutral. So according to him, as the numerical value, the magnitude of electron and protons are same, so he concluded that atoms are basically neutral in nature, as positive and negative charge balances each other. Okay. So this is about Thomson's atomic model. Now we are going to learn about Rutherford's atomic model. Okay. So just see here what he has experimented. Ernest Rutherford was interested in knowing how the electrons are arranged within the atom. So here Thomson only has suggested that electrons are embedded inside an atom. But now scientists have the curiosity to know how the electrons and protons are arranged. Okay, so Rutherford only worked on how the electrons, he has the curiosity how these electrons are arranged. So according to this model only we are going to see how electrons are arranged. Okay, and what is the basic structure of atom. From here the basic structure was derived now. See. Ernest Rutherford was interested in knowing how the electrons are arranged within an atom. Rutherford designed an experiment for this. In this experiment, fast-moving alpha particles were made to fall on a thin gold foil. So here you can see it is, suppose this is a gold thick foil. These are the atoms of gold arranged in a form of thick foil. Okay. So he selected a gold foil because he wanted as thin a layer as possible. So gold can be easily converted into thin sheets. That's why he has taken that gold sheet. So he selected a gold foil because he wanted as thin as a layer possible. This gold foil was about 100,000 atoms thick. कितना atoms होगा उसमें? 1000 atom होगा, इतनी that was the sheet. So alpha particles, now he bombarded alpha particles from that sheet, means he passed alpha particle rays from that sheet. Now what are alpha particles? Alpha particles are doubly charged helium ions. Helium ions, that helium ion which has double charge, two charges over the helium ion, is known as what? It is known as alpha particle. As you have seen, helium is what? Helium is an inert gas and it has its satisfied valency. It has 2 electrons in its valence shell and these electrons are satisfied with the valency, means there is no need to give or to take electrons from any other atom for helium, but still when these 2 electrons are removed out from that helium atom, so in that form it will have 2 plus charge over helium, and that 2 plus charge, the helium that is having 2 plus charge is known as what? Alpha particles. So alpha particles are doubly charged helium ions since they have the mass of 4u. They have the mass of 4u. Okay, so the fast moving alpha particles have a considerable amount of energy, means they have the mass. That's why it has concluded that they have a considerable amount of energy. They will have the energy to pass from the gold foil. Okay, so what he did here, it was expected that alpha particles would be deflected by the subatomic particles in the gold atoms. Since the alpha particles were much heavier than the protons, he did not expect to see large deviations. So what he has expected, what are the expected results of his experiment? That, see, alpha particles has the mass of 4u. These were heavier than that of the mass of the protons. Okay, so what he has expected that these rays will deviate when that will strike the gold atom. So the rays will deviate. Alpha particle will just strike and deviate, means bounce back from that atom. But this has not happened. Okay, this was the expected result only. But the alpha particles scattering experiment gave totally unexpected results. Most of the fast moving alpha particles passed straight through the gold foil. What happened here? Most of the alpha particles just passed straight. See, most of the alpha particle rays are just moving straight. They just pass straight from that gold foil. So some of the alpha particles were deflected by the foil by small angles, while some were deflected from small angles. Only from the small angles they have deflected. While surprisingly, 1 out of every 12,000 particles appeared to rebound. While means कहीं मतलब कुछ तो small angle से deviate हुए, mostly जो थे वो straight line से pass हो गए, straightly pass हो गए. कुछ जो थे वो small angles से deviate हुए और कुछ जो थे वो rebounds हुए. मीन्स जाके वापस आ गए उसी पाथ पे, ऐसे स्ट्रेट गए ऐसे वापस आ गए, सी रीबाउंस हो गए. तो वो उसका क्या अमाउंट था, मीन्स 12,000 अगर अल्फा पार्टिकल्स आप उसमें से पास कर रहे हैं गोल्ड फॉइल में से, तो उसमें से वन जो रे है, वन अल्फा पार्टिकल जो है वो रीबाउंस कर रहा था, वापस अपनी पोजीशन पर वैसे ही आ रहा था. So in the words of Rutherford, this result was almost as incredible as you fire a 15-inch shell at a piece of tissue paper and it comes back and hits you. Okay, so this is what means if someone is not able to see, if we are hitting the ball over, what was expected, that we are hitting the ball over the ball and it will bounce back. This was the expected result. But what happens? It happens like someone has blindly folded and he has to strike the ball over the fencing of any ground, and he doesn't know that it was a fencing, it was a wired fencing, and you know that the wire fencing has so much space available from them to pass. So from we are throwing a ball through that fencing and ball is passing inside that fence. So this is happening with the Rutherford model. Okay. So following a similar reasoning, Rutherford concluded from the alpha particle scattering experiment that most of the space inside the atom is empty because most of the alpha particle passed through the gold foil without getting deflected. So from here he had concluded that most of the part of the atom is means there is a space inside an atom, means no protons, no electrons are there in most of these spaces. See here they are empty. So that's why they are empty, means no subatomic particle is present here, no proton and electrons are present here. That's why the alpha rays are passed, because if it was strike there, if it was hit by these alpha rays, subatomic particles, protons and electrons, if they are hit by this, so definitely they will bounce back. So but here they are not bouncing back, they are not deviating, they are passing straight. So from this he concluded that most of the space in the atom is free. Okay. Now, very few particles were deflected from their path, indicating that the positive charge of the atom occupies very little space. So, those means alpha particles also have positive charge, and we know that protons also have positive charge. So, when positive will attract, we know this thing that like charges disattract each other, while unlike charges attract each other. So these alpha particles are positively charged while protons are also positively charged. So when these alpha particles strike the protons, what will happen? They will deviate. It won't allow to pass it. It will move outwards, or it will move away that alpha particle from its side, from itself. So here what is happening, when few alpha particles are striking to that of proton, means in the center of the atom, they were deviating by some angles. So very few particles were deflected from their path, indicating that the positive charge of an atom occupies very little space. So only few alpha particle rays are deviating. So from here he concluded that only positive charge is present in only small space of that atom. Okay. Now third, he had concluded that a very small fraction of alpha particles were deflected by 180 degree. See, only few alpha particles were deflected 180 degree. So from here what he has concluded, indicating that all the positive charge and the masses of the gold atom are concentrated in a small volume within an atom. So from here he concluded that all positive charge and mass, means protons, all positive charge which are present in the atom, in that gold atom, and the mass of gold atom, means the mass of every atom is present in the small volume, it were concentrated in a small volume within an atom. मीन्स बहुत छोटी सी जगह में, एटम की बहुत छोटी सी जगह में जो है सारा पॉजिटिवली चार्ज जो है एक्यूमुलेटेड है. मीन्स सारा जो मास है एटम का वो कहाँ है, एक बहुत छोटी सी जगह में जो है वहाँ पर फिक्स्ड है. ओके, ये उसने कंक्लूड किया यहाँ से. So from the data he also calculated that radius of nucleus is about 10 to the power 5 times less than that of the atom. So from here he concluded that what the radius of nucleus, means where the positive charge is accumulated, he named that the you may say the sphere where the positively charge is accumulated as a nucleus of the atom, and concluded that the radius of the nucleus is 10 to the power 5 times 10 to the power 5 times less than that of the atom. Means atom is big and the nucleus is 10 to the power 5 times smaller than that of the atom. Okay. So, on the basis of his experiment, Rutherford put forward the nuclear model of an atom which had the following features. Now, what the features the Rutherford model have? See, there is a positively charged center in an atom called nucleus. Now, he has given a proper name to the center of the atom as nucleus. So, this is a positively charged center, and there is a positively charged center in an atom called nucleus. Nearly all the mass of an atom reside inside the nucleus. From here what he has concluded that all the mass of the atom is residing inside the nucleus. The electron revolve around the nucleus in a circular path. Here also he concluded one thing, that electrons revolve around a circular path. Revolve around the nucleus in a circular path. Third, what he concluded, the size of the nucleus is very small as compared to that of the size of the atom. Right? We know that we have learned this thing, that the size of the nucleus is 10 to the power 5 times smaller than as compared to the size of atom. Okay, so these were the three postulates or features of Rutherford's atomic model. Okay, now what are the drawbacks? Also, with new experiments, if something good is concluding, then some drawbacks are also there. From that drawbacks only we are going to invent some new things. So here are also some drawbacks of this Rutherford atomic model. So what were the drawbacks? See, in second feature he concluded that electrons are revolving around the nucleus in a circular path. So what is happening here? As he said that electrons are revolving around the nucleus, when any particle, we know this thing, that any particle when it is moving in a circular path, what is happening? It requires acceleration, right? It requires acceleration to move in that circular path. So, during acceleration, charged particles would radiate energy, and when some charged particles are revolving around that nucleus, so they will radiate energy. वो कुछ energy release करेंगे, तो वो जब energy release करेंगे तो घूमते घूमते क्या होगा, एक टाइम ऐसा आएगा जब energy पूरी खत्म हो जाएगी और वो अंदर आके एटम के अंदर गिर जाएंगे. ऐसा हो सकता था. ओके, सो दिस वॉज अ ड्रॉबैक. ये जो चीज़ थी ये प्रॉपरली उन्होंने नहीं समझाई थी कि उनके बीच में क्या फोर्सेस है, क्यों वो ऐसे रिवॉल्व कर रहे हैं और वो उसके अंदर स्टेबल है या नहीं, उनकी स्टेबिलिटी वो डिफाइन नहीं कर पाए थे. ठीक है. सो दिस वर द ड्रॉबैक्स ऑफ रदरफोर्ड एटॉमिक मॉडल. ओके. Now, with the drawbacks of Rutherford atomic model, now using the drawbacks and using the features of Rutherford atomic model, new scientist, that is Niels Bohr, has given a new structure of atom, and that structure was known as what? Bohr's atomic model. Okay. So, in order to overcome the objection raised against the Rutherford atomic model of the atom, Niels Bohr put forward the following postulates about the model of an atom. Now, what were the postulates? What were the features, or what Niels Bohr has suggested in his atomic model? This is what we are going to see in this part. Okay. So, first postulate, what was it? Only certain special orbits known as discrete orbits of electron are allowed inside the atoms. What he concluded? That there are some orbits inside the atoms. See, these are what? These are orbits. So, he concluded that there are certain orbits that are present inside the atoms. Okay. While revolving in discrete orbits, the electrons do not radiate energy. Now, second feature what he postulated, that electrons are revolving in this particular orbits only. Okay, electrons are revolving in this orbits. This is the nucleus and this is the orbits. And while revolving in this orbits, electrons does not radiate energy. Means they will not lose energy while they are revolving in this orbits, discrete orbits. Okay. So these orbits or shells are called energy levels in an atom. Okay. So these orbits are known as what? These orbits are known as energy shells. These are known as what? Energy shells. Now, these orbits or shell are represented by the letter K, L, M, N or numbers n is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4. Means these were named as, this first will named as K shell, this is L shell, this was M, and this is N. Okay, you may name them as P, Q, R, S, but basically he has term named as K, L, M, N, L shell. Okay, or by numbers he has also represented it here. For K shell he has given the number 1, it is 2, it is 3, and here it is 4. So in this way he have numbered this. So what were the features of Bohr's atomic model? That he concluded that atoms, inside the atoms there are some discrete orbits in which the electrons are revolving, and while revolving in that particular orbit, the electron does not radiate any energy. Okay, so this was the model through which we considered the perfect structure of an atom. This was the perfect structure which we are studying nowadays. So the structure given by Niels Bohr was recommended as a standard atom for standard structure for atom. Okay. Now that is of neutrons. So in 1932, J. Chadwick discovered another subatomic particle which had no charge and mass nearly equal to that of proton. Now he discovered one more particle which has no charge while it has a mass similar to that of the proton. Okay. So it was eventually named as neutron. So it was named as neutron. Neutron are present in the nucleus of an atom. Nucleus, okay, neutrons are also present in the nucleus of an atom except hydrogen. Means hydrogen is the atom where neutron is not present. Remember this thing, hydrogen doesn't contain neutron. It only has proton inside its nucleus, and one electron is revolving in K shell of hydrogen atom. Okay, remember this thing. In general, a neutron is represented as small n. Okay, with this neutron is represented. The mass of an atom is represented therefore by giving the sum of the masses of proton and neutrons present in the nucleus. Now if we have to give the mass of the atom, then the mass of the atom, from Rutherford model, he concluded that the mass of the atom is concentrated in the center of the atom, and that center of the atom he suggested the name as nucleus. So from the discovery of this neutron, we concluded that the mass of the atom is, if calculated, then it will be calculated in the form the sum of proton and neutron, as proton and neutron resides inside the nucleus. That's why the mass of the atom is what? The mass of the atom is equal to the sum of number of protons and number of neutrons present inside the nucleus. Okay. So, we'll just revise. See, protons and neutrons resides inside while electrons revolve around the nucleus in perfect or in discrete orbits. Okay, so this is all about today's video. In today's video, what we have learned why there is a need to learn to discover the structure of atom, what were the different models of atoms given by scientists, Thomson's atomic model, Rutherford atomic model, and now Niels Bohr's atomic model we have seen. So in this part we have covered this. In next part we are going to learn that how these electrons which are revolving inside these orbits, how these are arranged, okay, how they are distributed in different orbits. After that we are going to see about valency, then atomic number, atomic masses, isotopes and isobars. So in this way we are going to complete this chapter. So in second video we will finish with this chapter. So this is all about today. Hope you have understand all the things. If you have any doubts, you can ask me anytime. Okay. So keep studying. Just go through the chapter and ask your doubts. Thank you and have a nice day.